Take a few deep breaths. We're just touching in, coming into this present moment as we start noticing what's going on. Sometimes what we notice will be just lovely. Other times there's a bit more disturbance on the water, so to speak. Just notice what's going on with you right now. And no matter where we start, we more often than not end up more relaxed, more rested, more in tune with ourselves. All of the messages in our world that take us out of this, that take us out of awareness, that take us into some kind of distraction or addiction or disconnection. Trauma responses play a big role in that, of course. The disconnection. And then we come in. We just notice what are the sounds in the room, sensations in the body, what's going on right now. We take some breaths, we settle ourselves into a comfortable position, and we tune in. Notice if there's anything that's got you stirred up right now. You might be worried about something, ruminating, anxious, and ask if it's okay to let it go for 20 minutes. We're not talking about the whole day, the rest of your life. We're just talking about for this 20 minutes while we have a rest. Would it be all right for it to be settled, to move to the background? And what would that experience be like if that happened 100%? If for the next 20 minutes you had no thoughts at all about whatever it is that you were thinking about? Or maybe 80%. Focus your attention on the stillness, on the quiet in the mind. There's always little gaps, even when the mind is quite busy. Thought is interesting because we can work with it on the level of watching thought. We can work with it on the level of watching the gaps between thought. And we can work on it on the level of thought is arising in space, and we can notice the space time that thought is appearing in. And just like the ripples on a lake, when a wind comes along, and then the wind calms and the ripples calm, one layer of the mind is a lot like that. We could focus on the depths, on the stillness, and the largest part of the mind is still. It's always still. And one way that we can work with that is by watching thought and noticing the gaps between thought. And being aware that those gaps between thought are actually what's always here, that silence or the stillness. But it's an entry point. If your viewing apparatus was at the back of your head and you are watching as thoughts roll through behind the forehead and the screen there, we notice some thoughts are pretty quiet. They don't really attract much attention. It's pretty easy to watch a thought come up about need to remember to go to the store. I'll make a mental note of that. And then we notice that thoughts just kind of get quiet again. Keep your attention on the quiet as much as you can. Might last for a few seconds, several seconds. Notice the quiet in your mind between thoughts, where the surface of your mind, the surface of your lake, gets calm and quiet. And it's normal for us to have observational or witnessing kind of thoughts. My mind is kind of quiet. And then we notice that's a thought. And we come back to noticing the stillness. If you're a visual person and you're visualizing the lake, the thoughts are the waves on the surface of the lake, and there's that whole depths of the lake that is completely still and quiet. You might even kind of visually bring your attention down from the surface into the stillness of the lake. And if you're not a visual thinker, then you could just sense that in between thoughts, there's silence. Put your attention to that. And as you're doing that, notice your whole body. The body is relaxing, it's softening, the breath is moving the body. Notice if there are energy, sensations, feelings in your body right now. Let your body soften, especially as you breathe out. Anchor your attention into the moment, to this moment right now through your breath. Allow your breath to be even and smooth. And as you're watching thoughts, notice that some thoughts generate other thoughts, some thoughts generate sensation, feelings. And our job in this kind of a relaxation or meditation is to notice the stillness. We notice the whole environment, we notice our body, we notice the rhythm of the breath. We can anchor our attention into the breath. We remain as a witness to the thoughts that are coming and going in the mind. And mostly we're coming back again and again to noticing what happens between the thoughts. And if thoughts were like waves on the surface of a lake, then what's below the surface? Notice the stillness that's always here. A lot of this is our relationship with our thoughts. In this case, we're witnessing thoughts. You might need to give your mind a little bit more of a focus, like maybe noticing the softness of your forehead and eyebrows. As we let our body soften and relax, it helps our mind to be more still. If you were deep sea diving, you'd be well below the surface of the lake. In a way, we could think about that in relation to our thoughts. We're not so much absorbed in what's happening on the surface layer of thought. We're using this gap between thoughts to access the stillness in the mind. In yoga meditation, we talk a lot about non attachment. And part of the way that works with thoughts is that we could allow the thoughts to be there. Our relationship with the thoughts could be just kind of practical. Some days we have a lot of thoughts, some days we have a lot more stillness. And could you be okay? Could you just relax even when there's more thought? And could you not resist that? Could you not condemn yourself or get frustrated? That's of coming back with kindness all the time. Some days we have a lot going on in the mind. We get kind of compulsive. And those little gaps between thoughts might be a split second, it feels like. Sometimes our mind just keeps getting dragged again and again into a train of thought. And when that happens, we could be compassionate and kind, accepting. That's what happens to all of us at times. So if we let go of the judging of that, if we have a more accepting relationship with our mind, with our experience, then that removes a lot of the intensity of thoughts right there. If you're noticing any frustration or judgment, see if you could just watch that and then let it come back to silence. And then in that gap between the next thought, really focus in on the silence. And again, we keep our focus or we return to the focus. We let go of any resistance to our actual experience. Coming back to the gap, the silence between thoughts. And then deeper into the silence that's always there. Thoughts come and go through this silence. And as we come out of the practice, attend to what it is that's going on in your whole body, in your breath. And set your intention if you want to come back into this minding the gap between thoughts. Notice what it is that's happening between thoughts as you move through the day. Just for a minute or 2 minutes can be very helpful. And when you're ready, open your eyes and finish the practice.